Everyone, happy to be here again. This is the week 31 of the reading of this book, Qigong meditation, embryonic breathing. Quickly, let's go to chapter 3, the section 3.6, which is regulating the spirit. The first quote here is from Tao Te Ching, chapter 6. I read, "The valley spirit Gu Shen does not die. Then it is called Swan Pin. The door that is the key to reaching this Swan Pin is the root of heaven and earth, which is nature. It is very soft, continuous, as if it were existing. When it is used, it will not be exhausted. The Shen, which is the spirit, resides at the space between the two hemispheres of the brain, like we said last week. This space acts as a valley between mountains, which is able to trap energy and generate resonant vibrations in the valley. This corresponds with the energy outside the valley. Thus, the Shen residing in this valley is called valley spirit, Gu Shen, and the valley in which the Shen resides is called spiritual valley, Shen Gu. It is understood that the Shen residing in this valley governs the energy vibration of the entire body and thus controls the key status and its manifestation. When this Shen is strong, the key manifestation in life will be strong, and consequently one will have a long and healthy life, longevity or immortality. So normally the key is about the physical life and the Shen is about the spiritual life. Here, Swan means original, that is Yuan, and Pin refers to the female animals, more or less like saying mothers. Therefore, Yuan Pin means the origin or root of lives. When the valley spirit is centered or condensed and functions actively, the life force is strong. Actually, Swan Pin is what is called Tai Chi, the grand ultimate in Yi Jing, the book of change. This Tai Chi is a Tao of lives in the great nature. Therefore, we can conclude that Swan Pin is the root of creation, variation, bearing, and raising of millions of lives, and is the mother of millions of objects of heaven and earth, and is another name for Tao, which is nature. The door to reaching this Swan Pin is a key to reaching the natural Shen, which is nature, heaven and earth. The Shen is very soft and continuous, as though existing and yet without existing. The Shen cannot be seen but felt through cultivation. When it is used, it will not be exhausted. It is always replenishing. According to Taoist and the Buddhist society, in order to reach the natural Shen, we must reopen our third eye. The third eye, here called Tian Mu, is the heaven eye, or Yumen, the jade gate, by religious societies. And then it is also called Yin Tang, the MHN3, which is the seal hall. It's also called like this by the Chinese Medical Society. In the document, Wudang's illustration of cultivation truth, the place under the Ming Tang, which is the Exong MHN2, the central area of the forehead, above the midpoint of the line connecting the two eyebrows, where the spiritual light is emitted, is named as Heaven High Tian Mu. It is also mentioned in the document Seventh Bamboo Slips of the Bamboo Bookcase that the space between the two eyebrows is the jade gate Yumen of Niwan. Niwan is a Taoist term that literally means mud peel, and this implies the brain, the upper dantian. Now, the lower center of the spiritual valley, Shengu, between the two hemispheres of the brain is called Ni Wan Gong, and it means mud, peel, palace. Number 2, from observing vessels, I read, the brain is the upper dantian and is the palace where the original Shen resides. If a person is able to grasp this original Shen and make it stay at its original palace, then the golden key, which is precious, will rise automatically, and the real breathing can be stabilized naturally. This is what it means to say, if one is opened, then hundreds of ways will all be opened. When the big gate is opened, then hundreds of gates are all opened. Now, the brain is considered to be the upper dantian and is the residence of the Shen. The Shen resides at the upper dantian since our birth, and it is called the original Shen. The document, detailed outline of Galenica, said, brain is the residence of the original Shen. So if we are able to condense our Shen and make it stay at its residence, then the key within our body will be conserved. Our energy will not seep out. Our energy will not leak out. It will not be dispersed. It will not be wasted. So the way to keep the Shen at its residence is to keep our mind calm and peaceful. And then we avoid attraction of human affairs or temptations and emotional disturbances. When this happens, the key storage at the lower dantian and within the abdomen will be abundant and can be led upward through the spine, the thrusting vessel, to nourish the brain and Shen. In addition, the breathing will become slender, soft, and steady. This will result in the opening of obstacles to key flow within the meridians. There can be key blockages. But these blockages, these obstacles can be removed, and then our key can flow smoothly within the entire body. This is the way to reaching health and longevity. Number 3, quickly, is from development of Chan Tong Ki. I read, following the real breathing to and fro, allow the real key to ascend and descend from morning till evening. The original Shen should always reside at the palace. The real breathing means the profound level of embryonic breathing. When we have reached the stage of this real breathing, our ki can circulate smoothly throughout the body without the slightest stagnation. Then we will be able to lead it up to nourish the Shen and down to stop at the real lower dantian around the abdomen. However, it does not matter how the ki is circulated and manifested. We must always keep our Shen at its residence so that we don't become confused with mundane affairs. Number 4, from Concealed Secret of Feng's Family, I read, there is a cross or cruise in the body which is named Swan Pin. This place is how life can be alive and receiving ki. In fact, this place is the residence of Shen and where the 3 origins, which are the Jing, the Qi, and Shen, are gathered. This is the cavity where the essence, the spirit, and soul and vigor meet. The essence is Jing, the spirit is Shen, the soul is and the vigor is Po. Qi is energy. Alright, it is the root where the golden elixir, which is the key, returns, and the place where the immortals conceive their holy embryo. This document explains the spiritual valley or the Mother Palace. The Shen resides at this place. We have kept talking about that. Now, when the Shen is gathered and the physical body is nourished by Qi, then there is a physical life. Once this Shen departs from the physical body, then there is death. So, to nourish the Shen, we must gather the 3 origins. That is the Jing, which is essence relating to the hormones, the Qi, which is energy relating to the breath, the Shen, which is spirit relating to a mental status, We must gather them at this place. At this place, they must be unified. Okay, so we call it mind, body, spirit practice. Unification of these three, so they're aligned and harmonized. So the Shen can be raised to a higher level this way. Now, the Zhuangping has already been explained earlier. Po is the vital spirit, which is supported by the vital energy key when someone is alive. When someone dies, the Po becomes but like the soul, which means the spirit after death. Now, Jindan means the golden elixir, and it implies the precious key. When the precious key is led upwards to nourish the Shen, we are able to attain longevity. There is a song in the Dai society which says, there is a Shen in every human body. There is a supernatural divine light which can be developed in this Shen. This supernatural divine light alone can shine into thousands of valleys. It is nature, its Tao of variation is unlimited, and it spreads to millions of directions and ways. What does this mean? This means that once we are able to cultivate our Shen to an enlightened level, it is able to reach everywhere in the universe. Number 5, from Songs of Valley Spirit. Songs of Valley Spirit 1. I read, I have an interior, insubstantial, empty valley. When talking about it, it seems it is there. Again, it seems it's not there. When talking about it, even if it is not there, however, it cannot be ignored. When talking about it, even if it is there, however, it cannot be resided or occupied physically. Valley, valley, it is so marvelous. Shen, Shen, it is the real great Tao. Keep it, protect it. You can be on the list of those without death, those who live long. Cultivate and refine it. You can be called an immortal divine. This song talks about the importance of the spiritual valley, Shengu, and how crucial it is for the cultivation of the valley spirit, Gu Shen. If we wish to reach enlightenment, longevity, or immortality. Now, this spiritual valley is between the two lobes of the brain, as we have said. This cannot be seen, it can only be felt through meditation. In this valley, the valley spirit resides. To reach the Tao of enlightenment, we must feel the existence of this spiritual valley, and then we must first learn how to keep the Shen there firmly, and then to cultivate it. This is the way to reach longevity. It means that those persons who have reached spiritual immortality or enlightenment. The second part of this song of Valley Spirit says, when the Valley Spirit obtains its singularity or simplicity, the Ling, which is ingenuity, can be developed. When the Valley obtains its singularity and it is centered, the fullness can be achieved. If someone is able to keep this singularity, then from this alone, they will be able to achieve longevity. It is not too far, it is not difficult to obtain longevity originally. However, it cannot be achieved if the training neglects the training of the physical body. If trained and the accomplishment is achieved, then the ordinary bones, that is normal human physical body, can be changed into immortality, can achieve longevity naturally. Here, G means one, oneness, singleness, singularity, simplicity. If the Shen is able to condense into a singleness at its residence without dispersion, then the spiritual vibration energy will become strong and powerful. Consequently, we are able to reach Ling, which means ingenuity, intelligence, dexterity, and cleverness. We can express our higher self. We can achieve peak performance. This implies our ability of comprehension, which is the key to enlightenment. When the Spirit Valley obtains this concentrated Shen, the coherent resonant energy will be full and strong, and the key governed by the Shen will be efficient and effective. This is a key to longevity. So we cannot do away with brain exercise. Things like reading long text, following the rules of writing, punctuation and all, they are very essential here. We should not be brain lazy. Okay, all right. However, in order to obtain longevity, we must also pay heed to our physical health and not just mental and spiritual cultivation. The key to longevity is both physical and mental. Only if these two are able to balance each other with a strong foundation can we then have a long, healthy life. At this point, we should know that people who do natural practices, they pay attention to both physical and mental cultivation. This dual cultivation is called Xing Ming Shuang Xiu, and it means the dual cultivation of temperament and the physical life. Now, Songs of Valley Spirit number 3, it says, if the Valley Spirit does not die, then you have gained the gate, the crucial key to longevity or immortality. Exit and enter softly as a Tao is existing within. When you cultivate your Shen to return it to the insubstantial nihility at midnight, you must know how to use the rival transportation to carry the key to Kunlun. What do we mean by this? According to the writer, he said, as mentioned earlier, Zhuan means original and Pin means mothers. Therefore, Yuan Pin means the origin or the root of lives, and it means the key to longevity. So in order to keep the Shen at its residence, we must follow the Tao softly and gently. That song went on to say, the dragon is singing and the tiger is also shouting. The wind and the clouds meet together and the old yellow lady is screaming. The fair lady is the fire. In the fire is shy and charming. Look inward to see the cute baby in the water. Now, it will take a great deal of time to learn to keep the Shen at its residence, but we must cut off all attraction, distractions, emotional disturbances from the outside world. We do this gradually and gently, because if we force it to happen, our emotional mind will be more disturbed and the result will be reversed. To lead the key upwards through the thrusting vessel, the Chongmai, which is our spine, okay, this will nourish the brain. And then we need to train this at certain times, say the midnight, because the key is the strongest in the central energy system at this time. The dragon and the tiger, they mean yin and yang keys in the body. The old yellow lady means the matchmaker who brings the yin, the female, and the yang, the male, together. Through interaction of the yin and the yang, the spiritual baby embryo will be conceived. Therefore, Wang Ho is the mind or the Shen, and it can also be the breathing that is able to bring the yin and yang together. We connect the yin and yang with our breath. Now, the baby and the shy lady, they meet at the old yellow lady. The son and the mother meet each other with the same mind. In the golden palace and the jade hall, there are 12 doors. Golden male and wood female are just coming. After passing layers of the important key doors, immediately lock the gate. Inspect cows in the big diaper and immediately start the fire. Advance the fire to eliminate yin to initiate the soul yang. 1,000 years of peach has just started to bear fruits. The baby Shen here and the shy lady key are now brought together by the old yellow lady which is the mind of breathing, to harmonize with each other. Then they are led upward from the one thing, then to the brain, passing through the 12 doors, which is the throat area. Now, the original essence and Shen have been therefore unified. The Jing here means baby or son, and it implies the spiritual embryo. Cha Nu, the shy lady or mother, implies the key. Therefore, it means that the Xin has been calmed and unified with the Shen at one thing. The baby embryo is then conceived. This spiritual embryo is led upward to the upper Dan Tian. The 12 doors means the throat area, okay? And Qigong means golden male, which is the original essence related to the hormones. The 5 elements, the wood mother implies the liver, which is Shen, and this liver belongs to the wood within the 5 element system and is able to produce the fire, which relates to the heart. The heart produces fire, produces warmth, okay? So after passing through the 12 doors around the throat to the upper dantian, which is the brain, immediately keep the spiritual embryo there, okay? And the big diaper here implies the process of condensing the Shen at the upper dantian. After practicing for a long time, the spiritual embryo can be born. Now, one more thing here. Okay, let's go to number 6, which is from the thesis of Valley Spirit's immortality. What is the valley? It means the heaven valley, Tiangu. What is the Shen? It means the original spirit of the entire body. The valley of heaven contains the capability of creation and variations, though it holds the insubstantial nihility. The valley of the earth contains millions of objects and holds the mountains and rivers. Humans have the same natural disposition as the heaven and the earth. Therefore, we also have a valley. There is a real singularity conceived in this valley where the original spirit resides. Thus, there are 9 palaces in the head which correspond with the 9 heavens above us. Among them, there is a palace at the center called Ni Wan, the mud pill, also called Wang Ting, the yellow yard, again named Kunlun, and additional name Tiangu. This means there are numerous names for this. It is the palace where the original spirit resides. It is empty as a valley, and the Shen is living within. Therefore, the Shen is called Gu Shen, spiritual valley. This space between the 2 hemispheres of the brain is called the heaven valley. It is because within the human body, the head is considered as the heaven, while the perineum is considered as the sea bottom. This heaven valley has many other names, as we have read. It is named the spiritual valley since the Shen resides there. It is named the yellow yard because it is an important place for cultivation. There is another place also called yellow yard located at the stomach area where the spiritual embryo is conceived. It is named mud pill due to the appearance of the pineal and pituitary glands. It is called Kunlun because Kunlun is one of the highest mountains in China and is very close to the sky. Though the spiritual valley is empty and does not contain material objects like the valleys on the earth that contains rivers, trees, and many other objects, the spiritual valley has the capability and potential of creation and variation. Ideas are generated. Almost 12-13 thoughts are processed per second. Ideas come from there. Inspiration comes from there. Taoists believe that there are 9 layers of heaven, and this means there are 9 layers of spiritual cultivation. There is a palace in each layer. The brain also contains 9 palaces, which correspond with the 9 palaces of the heaven. However, among these 9 palaces, The center one is the most important. This center is where the original spirit resides. Therefore, this central place is called Ni Wan Gong, and it means Mud Pill Palace. So, from the scientific point of view, when we concentrate our mind at this palace, the function of the pineal and pituitary glands will be activated due to the presence of abundant Qi. This will result in the long-term production of melatonin and growth hormone. These two hormones are the crucial keys to longevity and vitality. Melatonin is related to sleep. If we do not have enough abundant sleep, it tells on our immunity, tells on our health, tells on how we are able to survive, on our survival, okay? And our growth also, the growth hormone can be affected if we do not have sufficient growth hormone. From the Chinese writing, which I'm reading now, it says, when the Shen exists, then we live. When the Shen is gone, then we die. So if we connect with the objects, human affairs, during the daytime, and we are attached by the dreams during the night time, the Shen will not be able to reside at its residence peacefully. Yellow mazes are not yet ripe. The dream is not yet awakened. Entire life's glory, splendor, wealth, and rank, 100 years of sorrow, worry, happiness, and joy, isn't it happening just like in a dream? Once we are dead, and this life cannot be reversed, the Shen will roam around and cannot return. Then life and death are apart. The path between life and death is cut off. From this we can see that if the Shen does not live, a person will not live by himself. And if the Shen is dead, a person will also be dead naturally. If the Shen resides at its valley and does not die, how can a person also die? However, the reason that the valley spirit does not die is because of the swan pin. Now, if our mind is always attracted by human affairs, emotion, distractions, disturbances here and there, then our Shen will not be able to stay at its residence. A human life is very short, just like a dream. If we waste our time in longing for glory, dignity, power, wealth, of things that can happen tomorrow, we are not living in the present, we are only longing for tomorrow. Oof. We will forget how to cultivate our Shen and keep it steady at its residence. Then we will wake up one day and realize that everything we have been longing for is only but a dream. In order to have longevity or immortality of our Shen, we must keep the valley spirit at the spiritual valley. This is why Lao Tzu said, the valley spirit does not die. So that is why it is called Swan Pin. The door or key of reaching this Swan Pin, immortality, is the root of nature, heaven and earth. It is very soft and continuous as if it were existing. When it is used, it will not be exhausted. Okay. Alright, so we will skip one or two because of time and because we want to finish by next week, Tuesday. Let's read this. What is the meaning of as if it were existing? It means maintaining it by following the nature. After maintaining the Shen at its residence for a long time, it will be tranquil naturally. After practicing breathing for a long time, it will be stabilized naturally. When the natural disposition or temperament has become natural, it becomes a lifestyle, a second behavior, okay, more or less. It can be used marvelously. In this case, we don't have to try hard or to force it urgently. Therefore, it is said, when it is used, it cannot be exhausted. From this, it can be seen clearly that swan and pin are the true origins on the top and bottom of cultivation. and are the correct paths of key mothers ascending and descending. Those laymen do not know these roots and do not study their origin, and say the nose and mouth are swan and pin. If the nose and the mouth are swan and pin, how can they be named the doorways of swan pin? This is all because people do not comprehend their marvelousness of training. How can these theories be understood if they do not commit to it? This talks about the concept of spiritual cultivation. Chapter 6 of Tao Te Ching said, the valley spirit does not die, then it is called swan pin, immortality. The key to reaching this is the root of nature, heaven and earth, very soft and continuous, as if it were existing. When it is used, it will not be exhausted. First, this document discusses the meaning of as if it were existing, which is that we keep practicing the Shen. We keep practicing to keep the Shen at its residence and maintaining and conserving the Qi at its own residence. The residence of the Shen is the upper dantian. The residence of the Qi is the real lower dantian at the abdominal area until breathing becomes natural. It means we reach that stage of regulating without regulating. Regulating without regulating. Second, it explains that Swan Pin is the interaction of the Shen from the upper dantian and the Qi from the lower dantian, which is the unification or harmonization of the Shen and the Qi at the one think, the solar plexus. When these two interact with each other, it is the mother of creation and variations, and longevity can be achieved. Many laymen misunderstand that Swan Pin means the nose and the mouth, just talking about breathing alone, but it's a mistake. Only those who can really comprehend the nature of cultivation are able to grasp the marvelous trick of the training. So some people breathe through the nose and the mouth, and the breathing is heavy or forced, and they keep regulating. They do not get to the point of regulating without regulating, where the breathing is so slender and smooth, and it becomes like a second nature. Just breathe subconsciously in the accurate manner, breathing into the abdomen and not just shallow breathing into the chest. Let's go to number 7, secrets of applying Qi with concentrated Shen. I read, Shen is gathered and condensed from insubstantial and peaceful, harmonized and stabilized with substantial. Shen is wisdom of the sin, that is the emotional mind. When the emotional mind is peaceful, without desires, then the Shen can be like a king with harmonious and righteous Qi. Once you have reached this stage, then you may let the Shen be free without restraints. The longer, the better. Keep practicing ceaselessly, so the Qi in the body will reach an extremely peaceful state. This means delight for heaven or nature, delight for heaven for the head, for the brain. If you are full of delight for heaven, then you live long. When outside the body, that is the material world, is substantially empty, then it is also delightful for heaven. When there are no attachments to mundane things, to physical things. When inside the body is empty and comprehensive, that is no emotional bondage or desires, then it is also delightful for heaven, longevity. After practicing for a long time, then brightness can be derived, become enlightened. All these secrets are understood from within, from internal, and that's why we keep talking about the inner size, the exercise, the exerting from within, as opposed to exercise, exerting from without. Okay, after practice for a long time, then you understand, and then the understanding can be wide and refined, and this will match the brightness at the top. Bright. When we say someone is bright, okay? If bright, then the Qi can be developed from the essence. energy can be produced from the usefulness of the hormones internally. In such case, then the Tao, which is nature, can be reached, and this nature will correspond with the ways of the nature's ways. The Tao will correspond with day, that is the deed or virtue of nature. The completeness of the day is when it is used. It is the manifestation of benevolence, Ren. When it is divided or developed or expanded, it is a demonstration of Yi, that is righteousness. Shen, like we said, is spirit and cannot be seen, and then it can only be felt and condensed into a high spiritual level. Though it is insubstantial, it must nevertheless be harmonized with the material world. The Shen is related to the wisdom mind and the emotional mind. However, the emotional mind makes us confused and excited, while the wisdom mind directs us to focused thinking and decisions, logical decisions. Consequently, Shen can be raised and condensed. When this happens, the emotional mind will be under control and become peaceful and calm. And this will result in the harmonization of the Shen and Qi circulation. Number 8. How can a person be alive? It is because of the existence of the Shen, the spirit. How can this Shen be relied on or depended on for its existence? It is because of the shape, the physical body that is inhabiting. When the Shen is greatly used, then exhausted, it becomes exhausted. When the shape is greatly labored, then it becomes worn out. When the shape, that is the physical body, and the Shen, the spirit, are separated, then death ensues. Those who are dead cannot be revived, and those who are separated cannot be reunited or returned. Therefore, only men, that is people who have reached enlightenment, according to nature's ways, they take this spiritual cultivation very seriously. From this, it can be seen that the Shen is the root of the life, while the shape is the tool or vehicle of the life. The spirit will inhabit a physical body, and then our soul lives when the spirit and the physical body become separated. Okay? While we are alive, we are spirit. While we are alive in this physical body, we are spirit. But when we die, the spirit goes back as soul. Alright? According to the Buddhist concept, the spiritual body is the main part of a human, while the physical body is only a vehicle which is used temporarily by the Shen for its cultivation. So to reach enlightenment, we need to pay more attention to the cultivation of this spiritual body. The cultivation of this spiritual body and the healthy condition of the physical body are both equally important. And this is because it will take many years to cultivate the Shen to reach its enlightenment. So if the physical body is weak and unhealthy, there is no way one can have a long physical life to cultivate the spiritual body. Number 9, from the secrets of spiritual applications of all veracious holy embryo, Guo's and Ren's secret of embryonic breathing. I read, what does a training mean? It means to cultivate, to nourish, to empty. The ears do not hear, the eyes do not see, the nose do not smell, the tongue does not taste, and cease, that is calm, the breathing. There is need to calm the breathing and stabilize the emotional mind. This method is to achieve the stage of having from not having, nothing from something, color from colorless, empty from existing. And consequently, there is no having but having, something but nothing, colorless but with color, not empty but empty. This is the real method of nourishing the Qi and regulating the Shen in the real embryonic breathing. It is also said, when you see, I cannot see myself. That is forgetting self. When you hear, I cannot hear, separated from various boundaries and attachments. This is named marvelous Tao, and it is the uppermost method. I remember from the Bible, Jesus said, let those who have live as though they do not possess anything. Let those who are married live as though they are not married. Let those who are in high position live as though they are in not high position. That is having but not having, seeing but not seeing, colorful but without color. Alright? So to cultivate Shen, it means to cultivate the human temperament so that Shen is able to grow. Nourishing means to build up an abundant Qi, which can then be used to nourish the physical body and the spiritual body. Empty here implies the emptiness of human emotions and desires. In order to reach these three goals, one must get rid of the connection of our mind with the outside material and emotional world, and also avoid the temptation of desires from our sense organs. Therefore, there is no difference between with or without color, whether material exists or not, or if there is an attempt or not. In all, there is no discrimination of yin and yang, and this means the state of Wuji, the natural state of balance, no extremity. If we are able to reach this Wuji state, our embryonic breathing will be profound. Number 10, also from the same secrets of spiritual applications of all various holy embryo, but this time from Zhu Shen Gong's secret of embryonic breathing. It says, what is Shen? It is the application of insubstantial nihility. What is breathing? It is the application of the original Qi. We should train to get rid of the bondage of ordinary men's world and become an exceptional person. It does not matter if you gain or lose the treasures or colors, that is sensuality, dislike or favor, all being treated the same, that is neutral emotional feeling. In this case, nature will protect you naturally, and the sin of Tao, that is the will to pursue nature's ways, will have been achieved. The classics said, what is Shen? It is actually insubstantial nihility. Once it is used for essence, Qi and Shen, then it is Ling Tai, the platform of ingenuity. Those who cultivate their temperament, if they are able to stabilize their breathing from essence, Qi and Shen, three things, truly they can obtain longevity and become the divine renunciation of the world. It is no emotional ties, because the life of a man does not consist in the abundance of his possessions. It is not about what type of food, how much of food, what type of cloth, how much of cloth, what kind of currency, how much of it I have. There will be no extremities, only neutral and balance. So to reach longevity or immortality, we must learn to cultivate our Shen and Qi. The Shen is insubstantial and cannot be seen. However, when it is used, it is marvelous and powerful. We can accomplish the cultivation of our Qi through correct breathing. In order to cultivate our Shen, we must first stop thinking as ordinary people do and not be attracted by human emotions, desires, material satisfactions, temptations, attractions, the desire to gain this, to gain that, to have this, to have that, to be here, to be there, to be this, to be that. If we can see through this and keep our minds in a neutral state, then we are able to preserve and protect our three treasures, which is the essence, Jing, the Qi, which is our breath, the Shen, which is our spirit. When these three treasures are led upward to meet the upper Dantian, immortality or longevity can be achieved. Number 11, Anthology of Taoist Village. What does to condense mean? It means to gather. What is Shen? It is a righteous thought in the emotional mind, pure thought. What is Si? That is profound breathing. It is to induce the pre-heaven real key, the original key. There is no shape and no appearance. It is just pre-heaven key that is generated at the time of extreme nihility and sincere calmness. Sui, that is a cavity of the real lower dantian, is the original root of producing this pre-heaven key. Why do we condense our Shen at this key cavity? It is to place and condense our righteous thought, pure thought, at this key cavity, and not allow the Shen to be distracted and move away from the body. When the Shen is condensed, then it births fire, key, and then the fire can be gathered. When the fire is gathered and led downward, okay, the fire is born within the heart, the fire key, and then led downward. The water from the kidneys for homeostasis, the water key from around the pelvic region, the lower dantian, okay, will now rise automatically. So fire goes downward, water rises upward and meet at the one thing. Okay, now this is important. When the fire is gathered and led downward, the water will rise automatically. This is important key to fire and water's mutual coordination. It is also the marvelous crucial way to condense the Shen and at the key cavity. What is Si? It is breathing. What is Si? It is continuous breathing. It implies that the breathing is very soft and unbroken. What is Gui? Returning. It means to reverse the path of life and return it to its origin. What is Gen? The root. It is the root and foundation of life. Every breath is soft and continuous and returns to its root. I remember those days, the secondary school cadet boys, when they do certain commanding, or I don't know what they call it now again, some parade movements, and then they keep saying back to center. Then they go, we advance. So when you go back to center, then they advance again. Back to center, they turn at attention, we advance, they march. And they say slow march, or forward march, or fast march, quick march. Okay, so but at every point in time, when they finish one of these parade moves, you hear back to center. You return to nothingness. You return to the center. You return to the roots. And you hear the next command, we advance. So in the advancement now, they say slow or quick. All right, so it's good to always go back to the root and the foundation of life. Every breath is soft and continuous and returns to this root. This means that the breathing does not separate from the basic foundation of producing the key. Breathe for energy. Don't separate it. So this foundation of producing the key is at the center, the core of the breath. And they are not separated. It is as if it were existing and as if it had been forgotten. And it seems to be there, why not being there? This is what it was about embryonic breathing practiced in ancient times. We must understand that this breathing follows the natural pattern. If the Shen can be condensed at the key cavity, then the breathing will also be stabilized at this original root. This is all about mutual unification, coordination, and harmonization of the Shen and the pre-heaven key, which is the original key conceived at the real lower dantian. Shen is considered as fire, Yang, while this pre-heaven key is considered as water, Yin. If we are able to lead our Shen down and unify it with the pre-heaven key, then the mind can be calm and peaceful within our bodies. then the key can stay at its residence and be stored. The way to reach this goal is through a soft, slender, and continuous unbroken breathing while focusing our Shen at the real lower dantian. It's a crucial key to embryonic breathing. This is also the root of life, and from this breathing, the spiritual embryo can be conceived. Number 12, marvelous applications of maintaining the shape and cultivating internal truth by great teacher Da Mo. He said, if you don't know how to keep the son and mother, that is the Shen and Qi, together, then even though the Qi can be stored internally through the practice of breathing, nevertheless, the Shen is constantly labored and acting externally. Is being dissipated and can become dirty and confused. Once the Shen is not clean, then the original harmonious Qi will be dispersed gradually and cannot stay with the Shen. Many Taoists often make this mistake and do not know that the shape and the Shen are main core of practice. If a person does not know how to keep them together internally, but keeping them only externally, naturally, the residences of Qi and Shen will be dangerous and gradually rotting. Furthermore, those non-Taoists always labor their Shen and fatigue their thinking. There is not even a single breath which allows them to lead the Qi and the Shen to the Qi high, the real lower dantian. If they expect to have longevity, isn't it too far to be reached? If you don't practice properly, accurately, there's no way to achieve the goal of this longevity. The son and the mother imply the Shen and the Qi, which must act like son and mother and never separate from each other. This is called Shen Qi Xiang He, and it means the unification or harmonization of the Shen and Qi. In order to reach this goal, we must first stop the mind's attractions and emotional disturbances from the outside world. Once our mind is attached to them, our Shen becomes dirty. Through correct embryonic breathing, while we keep our Shen and Qi at the real lower dantian, we are able to reach the goal of longevity. Number 13, chapter of clear understanding, from Mao Ri-Sin, Song Dynasty. It says, Qi follows Shen and Shen follows Qi. Shen and Qi mutually follow each other and penetrate into the mud pill. Keep Jing Quan, the golden gate, locked and sealed constantly. Once you have caught the golden product, the elixir, then you will increase your joy internally, like the internal bliss. Practice diligently and establish your strong will. Do not give up this Gong Fu, the mastery, in 12 timings, that is 24 hours. When the yin ends and the yang has completed, the Shen will be able to exit from the body. When this gong has been accomplished, your name will not be on the list. When this gong has been accomplished, your name will be on the list of immortality. You'll be able to achieve longevity. This poetry talks about the mutual dependency of the Shen and the Qi. Once the Shen and the Qi can be led upward to the mud pill, the upper dantian, then we immediately keep it there firmly. The golden gate implies the upper dantian, and the golden material implies the spiritual embryo. The 12 timings, which are according to the traditional Chinese divisions for one day, talking about the hours of the day, 24 hours. Number 14, the complete book of principal contents of human life and temperament, according to Mr. Wang Zhen's Secret of Embryonic Breathing. It says, it is said that human's original Shen is hidden in the Qi cavity. It is just like millions of objects hidden in the Kun earth. The Shen enters the earth just like the heaven's Qi descends and reaches down to the earth. When the Qi and Shen are combined, it is as the Tao of the earth has been supported by the heaven. Now, the original Shen came to us when we were born. This Shen is concealed at its residence, the upper Dantian originally. When it descends into the real lower Dantian, the Qi cavity, it will be just like the heaven's Qi, energy from heaven, descending to the earth. When this happens, the Shen and the Qi are unified and harmonized with each other. This is a key to life and longevity. Kun here represents the earth in the 8 trigrams, and that is why it is called Kun 2. Number 15, from the 10 books of Cultivating Truth, shortcut of miscellaneous writing. I read, Qi is nourished by Qi, and Qi then meets Shen. Shen and Qi are not separated. Then it is a cultivation of truth, that is true cultivation. Then the son does not leave the mother, and the mother will not let go of the son. When the son and the mother stay together, then they live long without dying. It's explained thus, that in order to build up the Qi to an abundant level at the real lower Dantian, we must know where to find the extra Qi and how to store it in the real lower Dantian. We must also know how to keep our Shen there. When the Shen and the Qi becomes unified and harmonized with each other, the spiritual embryo can be conceived. The Shen and the Qi are just like the son and the mother, who will not part from each other. This is a way of reaching longevity. There are many Qi sources apart from the pre-heaven birth Qi, which comes with us at birth. Other areas we can derive Qi is through the food we eat, through the water we drink. All these things go through digestion in our stomach. The energy are absorbed. The energy is absorbed and is stored. Okay, and then when we breathe in, we take energy from nature. Okay, the energy is for combustion, participating in digestion. This same energy goes through our circulatory system, carried by the blood. The blood also takes these nutrients from the food and the things we drink, carry the nutrients to nourish the body as the blood goes throughout the body. So it is Qi from external, nourishing the Qi that is internal, and then we can store this Qi, combine it with Shen. So we have our bio battery, the real lower Dantian in the abdominal region, fully charged, and then we can lead up this Qi through the spinal cord to the brain. At a time, the Shen that we have up at the upper Dantian comes down, and the Qi at the lower Dantian moves up, and when they are mixed together, we birth a new form, which is called the golden elixir, the spiritual embryo. It is this elixir that serves as the activated form of Qi. When you mix the fire with the water, so the energy becomes so magnanimous, so magnificent, okay, that it's able to serve like a nuclear reactor. It is mixed at this point, and then we have the golden elixir that can serve us with sufficient energy for longevity. All right. Then we can go now to section 3.7, which is the methods of embryonic breathing. I run through this quickly as we before we close. Number 1 is embryonic breathing inscription, and I read 36 swallowings. Each one must be treated as first priority. That is important, most important. When uttering or when exhaling, it should be extremely slender. And when receiving, that is inhaling, it should be very soft and continuous. It does not matter whether you are sitting, lying down, or standing. All should be done naturally. Abstain yourself from noise and disturbance. Avoid eating meat or fish. Though it is given the name embryonic breathing, it actually is a training of internal elixir. It is used not only for treating sickness, but also for longevity. After you have practiced for a long time, your name will be on the top list of immortality. Alright. This document emphasizes the importance of swallowing saliva during embryonic breathing meditation. When we meditate, our tongue should touch the palate of the mouth, slightly, the roof of the mouth touching, okay, to connect the yin conception vessel and the yang governing vessel. Then saliva, which is heavenly water, will be generated. The head is considered the heaven, while the groin area is considered as the bottom of the sea. The water generated in the mouth is thus called heavenly water. Whenever the saliva is full in the mouth and starts to bother you, you should swallow it. First you inhale and then swallow, and immediately follow with exhalation, while leading the swallowed saliva to the real lower dantian. Naturally, your saliva will never reach the abdominal area. However, the mind leads the key down to return to the real lower dantian. It's all about visualization. Alright, in order to generate saliva, your breathing must be soft, slender, and calm. Your body must also be in an extremely relaxed state. If your breathing is fast, the key will easily be manifested into external physical activity, which can prevent you from storing the key at the real lower dantian. We must also meditate until we have accumulated 36 mouthfuls of saliva and swallowing them, each with utmost importance. If we are able to do this, we will be able to reach health and longevity. Naturally, when we practice embryonic breathing, we must select a quiet and peaceful place so that our minds can enter a profound meditative state. And this meditative state have been measured. Okay, and there is a deep meditative state. We have the alpha, the beta, the delta. Okay, this is a crucial key. This is a crucial key to embryonic breathing meditation. Okay, number 2, interpretation of embryonic breathing inscription. 8 notes of life abundance, according to Gao Lian Ming Dynasty. Gao Zi said, the secret of embryonic breathing mentioned earlier is the same as Li, Zen Ren's 16-word secret. However, this practice must be done after C. We talk about the time is 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. At the time of Chou, which is from 1 to 3 a.m. or Yin from 3 to 5 a.m. This is because it is too cold at the Z during winter. During summertime, Wu, which is 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., is also too hot for practice. Therefore, use Yin 3 to 5 a.m. in winter time and Qi 5 to 7 p.m. in summertime. These requirements are only for beginners. After practicing for a long time, whenever you sit down, it is the right timing, the Si and the Wu timing. It is not necessary to restrict the set time for practice anymore. Once you have crossed the beginning stage, it can be at any time. At the beginning of practice, the hands are held to firm the mind, and the legs are bent, and the heels are used to press the root of the jade stem, which is the private part area, to firm the key of the essence. Sitting in this position with crossed legs and hands in place, using the mind to transport the key, we must follow this exposition, one swallowing and one uttering of breath, all from the nose. The sound generated from breathing must be slender, quite weak, and not allowed to be heard by the ears, not forced breathing. Okay, after 36 swallowings, extend the 4 limbs comfortably. Take in the clean air through the nose and do not lead it down the throat. Simply raise up your head and lead the Qi to the entire body and 4 limbs. Lead the Qi, followed by the gradual and slow extending motion of the arms and legs. Whenever the Qi is in the abdominal area becomes stagnant, we should also not allow it to reach the throat and exit through the mouth. Again, raise the head up and lead the Qi to circulate through the entire body with the extension of the arms and legs slowly. During the practice, if you suddenly feel the Qi circulating upward, you should also use the same way to lead it back downward for calmness. If you have extra time and leisure, also practice Li, Zenren 16 words of Tang Dynasty. In this case, you will not be hungry or thirsty. If it seems as you have just taken a meal, it will seem as if you have just taken a meal. You should not get tired and stop. After you have practiced for a long time, the achievement is hard to be described in words. That's why it takes practice, perseverance, practice. Li, Zenren 16 words are translated and commented on earlier. These 16 words are: once inhaling, immediately lift up the perineum softly to return the Qi to the navel, the lower dantian, and once lifting, immediately swallow to allow the water and fire to meet. This is the method of swallowing saliva with the coordination of the perineum. Wu Yin. Okay? We can read more from the previous chapters. Now, the timing of the embryonic breathing, many documents have explained the best time is the midnight, which is Z, and also noon, which is Wu. This is because the Qi is strongest in the spine at this time, at midnight, and therefore it is the most effective time to lead the Qi to the center and store it there. The reason for practicing at noon time is that our body is then in its most yang state and will not need too much Qi to maintain the strength of the guardian Qi for our immune system. It is also the best time to store extra Qi at the real lower dantian. Beginners should not use these 2 times due to the body state and the environment Qi status being extreme yin and extreme yang. Extreme yin is midnight, extreme yang is at noon. It will be harder for beginners to adopt these times and effectively store the Qi at the real lower dantian. The document suggests that the best time for beginners should be Chou, which is 1 to 3 a.m., or Yin, which is 3 to 5 a.m. in winter time, and Q, which is 5 to 7 p.m. in summertime. As a matter of fact, once we have grasped the Qi to practice, we may then practice at any time. Let's move on to number 3, the secrets of spiritual application of all voracious holy embryo. Those who practice the real Qi from embryonic breathing should enter a quiet room, burn incense, face the wall, sit down with crossed legs facing east-south. The sane, emotional mind does not have any worry. The Ji, wisdom mind, does not have any thinking. Keep the Shen clear and stabilize the breathing. Always observe, pay attention to the entire body, that is felt sense. Then the Qi will circulate smoothly and fluidly. Learners and beginners must not seal the breathing completely, no holding of breath. If you seal the breathing entirely, then the Shen can be damaged. You become fatigued mentally. Just gauge the length of the breathing by yourself. Allow the air to enter and exit the nose. Do not make the sound audible by your own ears. In this case, it will be marvelous. If you always regulate this breathing and have reached the stage of no exit and no entrance of air, then the Shen will be able to stay at the real lower dantian firmly. Staying means the real holy embryo is conceived and the cultivation of the Tao can surely be achieved. We must find a quiet place to avoid disturbance from outside. We should burn incense just to find some pleasantness. Aromatherapy is found to be very helpful. Okay, it helps to calm down the mind, and then can be one of the ways of measuring the duration of meditation in ancient times. And then when we meditate, we should face either east for daytime or south at nighttime, so we can absorb the natural ki that is offered by the sun and the earth's magnetic field, nothing more. And again, our sin and ji, emotional mind and wisdom mind, should be calm and neutral so that nothing bothers us. We should also pay attention to the body and feel the ki status in the body. You can follow how the ki is moving as we go on with the meditation. You can sense what is happening. So if you are not able to feel any stagnation of the ki, then that means you allow the ki to be led and circulated smoothly and naturally. You are doing it fine. So when we start the ki at the lower dantian, we now learn to extend our breathing gradually and slowly. Then we can breathe longer. The regular breathing for an average man is like between 12 and 14 breaths per minute. But after training, you can start to breathe like between 6 and 8. So when a colleague beside you is breathing in and out 12, 14 times, you are doing like half of that. Okay, so you're doing more deep breaths. But you should not hold your breath, because this will make you become tense and it will disturb your mind and disturb your shen. But after you have practiced for a long time, you will feel as if you are breathing, and yet you are not, because you are now taking between 6 and 8 breaths, while the other, formerly you are taking 12 or 14 breaths. In this case, you'll have reached a profound meditative state of regulating without regulating. The mind and the shen will not be able to stay at the really lower dantian, and then you will have found the key to embryonic breathing. Number 4, the secrets of spiritual applications of all veracious holy embryo, according to Bao Puzi's secrets of embryonic breathing. Those who cultivate human temperament must practice the stabilization of the breathing. What is stabilized breathing? It means righteous, peaceful, smooth, returning to the root, tamed, controlled, tranquil, and calm breathing. If we are always able to maintain this, always able to do this in your 4 living manners, that is, when you walk, when you're residing, sitting, or lying, and you're able to catch the secret to enter the real Tao, the mind is not distracted by surrounding environments, empty the sin, and solid the abdomen, that is, the full ki is in the lower dantian, then it is the most marvelous. When the breathing is clarified, the sin will be stabilized. When the sin is stabilized, then the ki will be quiet. When the ki is quiet, then the shen will be calm. When the shen is calm, then the surrounding environment is empty. That is emptiness of the material world, no distractions. When the surrounding environment is empty, then everything is quiet and nothing exists. Nothingness of the mind at this material time of meditation. When quiet and nothing is existing, then you are clear and calm. When there is clearness and calmness, the Tao is generated. You are within your own world. You are creating your own universe. When the Tao is generated, then it becomes natural. When it has become natural, then you are free and unfettered. Once you are free and unfettered, then this is no limitation of cultivation, and everything can be achieved as you wish, which can therefore result in longevity or immortality, as it were. The 5 elements will all gather. The 6 ki will be unified and harmonized. The 8 trigrams, according to Bagua, will match accordingly. This will result in the formation of internal elixir, and the physical body will never be damaged. Okay? When the breathing is regulated, the sane, emotional mind will be calm and stabilized. Only then will the ki not be excited. Consequently, the shen can be centered and kept at its residence, and then we will be able to establish the most important spiritual cultivation for our enlightenment. When the shen is centered, we will not be attracted by daily human affairs, and this is the path to longevity. A life of no attachment, no apegamiento, according to Spanish, según Español. Okay, so the 5 elements are metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. These elements correspond with the 5 internal yin organs, which are the lungs, the liver, the kidneys, the heart, and spleen. Therefore, 5 elements here means the unification and harmonization of these organs. When we talk about the 6 keys, they include the body's key, which is the blood, the source of energy, energy carrying fluids. Okay, we have the blood, we have the saliva, we have the liquid, we have the essence, and we have the meridians. Okay, the meridians are the pathways that this energy flows through. So some people, these 6 keys also means 6 different climates, including wind, heat, damp, fire, dry, and cold. Number 5. 3 importances of conserving the life, according to Yuan Wang of Ming Dynasty. At the beginning, seal a mouthful of air. That is, stop breathing after inhalation. Use the navel to breathe. Visualization. Count till 81 or 120. Then let the air out through the mouth. That is, you breathe in through the nose, hold the breath, keep in your mouth, count the numbers, and then release through the mouth. It's a kind of Tibetan breath or breathing. Okay? This breath should be extremely slender and reach a stage that if there is a feather placed right in front of the mouth and nose, it should not be moved. It is so slender, so slim, so soft that the feather placed in front of the nose and the mouth does not move. Practice gradually and also gradually increase the number of counting. Okay, there is about holding breath. Okay, if the counting can reach to 1,000, then the hold can be converted into young each day. However, if you just know how to seal the air and without knowing embryonic breathing, then it is useless. So if you don't learn embryonic breathing and you're holding your breath, it will be useless. It will even cause you fatigue. Okay, there is an ongoing breath hold challenge. Okay, by Severin Singh, who is the founder of Breatheology. It's all about increasing our lung capacity and ability of the lungs to take all the essence from the air that we breathe into the lungs. The alveoli, the bronchioles are able to attract or trap, absorb all the essence in the oxygen, all the oxygen in the air that we breathe. So when you breathe and you learn to hold, you will breathe until your capacity is full, the lungs are full, then you hold it, but do not hold beyond your ability. You keep doing it over time, you are able to expand it. You can able to hold it longer, according to this writing. He did a one-time breathing. He held his breath and he dived and swam over 202 meters. That was what he did to mark the beginning of the year. Okay, to close the year 2020 year. It's a record for the Guinness Book of Record. All right, so it's key to embryonic breathing. And right now, this January, we are going through some breath hold challenge. Okay, but please consult your doctor. Make sure you are fit before you start. But over time, you can increase this, and then you're able to expand your organ vital content the lungs can hold more and can absorb more oxygen. All right, so the key method of embryonic breathing is to keep the mind steady at the real lower dantian and the physical body calm to their extreme states. Then the oxygen consumption can diminish significantly. Through the correct navel breathing method, which is embryonic breathing, the spiritual embryo can be formalized. Theoretically, after inhalation, if you hold your breath for just a few seconds, you are condensing the ki inward towards the center of the body. The longer you are able to hold without tightening your physical body and disturbing your mind, the more efficiently the ki can be stored at the real lower dantian. However, it is not easy to hold the breath for a long time. Don't do this at home. Don't do this when you are alone. It will take a lot of practice with the correct method. Okay? We'll talk about this in the other chapters, hopefully next week as we round up with the book. When this document mentions using the navel to breathe, it means abdominal breathing into your abdomen. There's another document, 3 Importances of Conserving the Life, that says that you must imagine that the ki exits and enters from the navel. You must regulate it until the breathing is extremely slender. Then it seems you do not use the mouth and nose, but you are using the navel for your breathing, as if you are the fetus in the womb, and it's also called womb breathing, when we are not ashamed that our stomach bulges as we breathe into the abdomen. Okay, young children, babies do not mind, but as we grow up, we try to hide the bulge of our stomach. We start to feel ashamed that we have big stomach. If we breathe into the chest, which is shallow, and it's not good for longevity. Many people misunderstand that we can exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide through the navel after birth. No, they are wrong, and they try to comprehend the document literally instead of achieving understanding through practice. In fact, this document emphasizes the importance of abdominal breathing or navel breathing or womb breathing until the breathing is so soft and tender. Then it seems there is no air exiting or entering from the nose and the mouth. And that's why they say put a feather. This feather does not shake. It does not mean you should actually stop your breathing completely, as you would die due to the lack of oxygen. Number 6, observing vessels. What is sealing the breath? Does not mean to hold the breath. No, it means that the shen is steady and the ki is harmonious. Stop thinking and forget about worry. Allow the nose breathing to be natural, smooth and slender, as if it is there and as if it is not there. That is self-explanatory. Number 7, the complete book of principal contents of human life and temperament. It's talking about complete emptiness of the mind internally, just like the nothingness of Taisu, which is grand emptiness, and it implies the great nature of the universe. Those people who follow the Tao must pay attention to the 4 timings which I've talked about, the 11 to 1 a.m., the 11 to 1 p.m., the 5 to 7 a.m., the 5 to 7 p.m. These are the gates of yin and yang's exit and entrance. Stabilize the scene and do not be moved. Be calm in your mind, and that is called Chan meditation. Chan is meditation. The Shen is communicative and is capable of reaching millions of variations. It is called Link, that is supernatural spirituality. Inspiration comes from inspiring, inhalation. Relaxation comes from exhalation. The intelligent mind is able to handle millions of events thoughtfully. This is called Wi. It is wisdom. The origin of the Tao is harmonious and peaceful. This is called Siu, cultivation. The real key has returned to its origin. This is called Lian, refine or train. The dragon and the tiger mutually interact with each other. This is called Dan, elixir. When the 3 origin keys have unified, it is called Liaho, end or completed. Those who have a strong will in pursuing the Tao know these origins and thus cultivate their human temperament by following the methods, naturally they are able to enter the great Tao, the Tao of longevity. Okay? The key will be able to stay at the lower dantian through embryonic breathing, and the result will be the conception of the golden elixir. And this elixir can be led upward through the spinal cord to the brain for enlightenment, nourishment. Okay, and at the end, the completion of the cultivation, the three essence will return to their origins. Number 8, the secrets of spiritual applications of all veracious holy embryo, Tian Tai, Taoist secrets of embryonic breathing. Whoever wishes to cultivate and train the Tao should maintain his training all the time, should be constant. Fix your time, fix the place, and be regular. You must be able to endure the humiliation and reject the evil thoughts with a soul mind, framed mind, focused mind, You must be able to keep a sincere mind, perseverant and strong, so as to transport the heart key, which is fire key, and kidneys key, which is water key, up and down, to and fro, thus interacting at the central palace. The whole shen must not be dispersed and the original key must be nourished. In this case, the dancer, elixir, and the huangjia, really yang, will be sprouted naturally. The root will be deep and the stalk will be firmed. Always keep the breathing soft and slender so as to reach longevity. In this case, you have transcended the ordinary men's society and you have gained Kung Fu mastery, Tao. So it talks about not being disturbed, doing spiritual cultivation, being patient, consistent, not allowing dirty emotional mind or mindset. Then when you produce the internal elixir, you transport the heart key downward from the middle dantian and the kidney key upward from the really lower dantian, so that they can meet at the inner navel area, one thing, and interact with each other. Okay, the kidneys key gets together with the heart key, and when these key are refined, then it reaches the extremity and the liquid, which is refined mixed material, will be produced. There is a righteous yang key which is matching with the real yin key within, and this is called the intercourse of the dragon, long, and tiger hu. Number 9, 7th bamboo slips and the bamboo bookcase internal elixir. Lao Jun's embryonic breathing. Lao Jung, also known as Lao Zi, said, "The key to man's immortality is in the embryonic breathing. At midnight and before noon, stretch and extend your legs and arms, bend the feet and cough. After 2 or 3 times of respiration, then immediately sit to meditate. Hold the hands firmly and restrain your sin at the place under the navel. Use yi to imagine there is a man's shadow about 2 or 3 inches long, and use a long inhalation to lead it into the mouth and immediately seal the breathing. Seal the breath, but do not swallow. Let it leave the mouth. Then condense the key under the navel into a small spot about the size of a grain of rice. After the number has been counted, then inhale as before. At the beginning, you may count only 32 spots or times the number, and you gradually increase to hundreds. If you are able to count to several thousands, then this is a small embryonic breathing, which is the method of avoiding aging to gain longevity." Okay, I read the next one. Because of time, I'm not to read the expanse, so you can just read the quotations and see. If there is anyone that looks quite difficult, then maybe I will read the commentary on it. Number 10, the secrets of spiritual applications of all veracious holy embryo. Damon Chan teaches secrets of embryonic breathing. What is the training of embryonic breathing? It is a training of Qi and the stabilization of Sin. If you can always accord the breathing with your Sin, then Sin will not affiliate with millions of objects. If the Qi is not stabilized, then the Chan, the meditation, will also be empty. If the Qi can be stabilized, then the color body, physical body, will not be sick, and the meditation and nature are both peaceful. Those who wish to cultivate their human temperament, if the Sin is unrestrained, resulting in the loss or divergence of original Qi, then how can the Tao be accomplished? Ancient people said, when Qi is stabilized, the Sin will be steady. When Qi is condensed, the Sin is calm. This is a crucial key to reaching the great Tao. This is also named as returning the elixir, Fan Dan. Taoists do not have such everyday worries, so it can be named as real stabilization in observing the Chan, which is meditation. Therefore, those virtuous and holy persons in the past 3 generations all use these secret keys to cultivate their human temperaments. It is called dual cultivation of Chan and Ting. 11. If one wishes to practice the original Tao of embryonic breathing, Sin must not kill, must not have desire, must not rob, steal, or be evil, must not be absurd, act insane, or be crazy. Then the mind will naturally be bright and clear. One should always abstain from meat, wine, and all, and so on. Slenderly regulate the real breathing and observe and shine, that is, cleanse entire self, physical and mental body. When this happens, the body and mind are clear and quiet. This is the Taoist with longevity. If the metal sinks to the bottom, it is firm and rooted, and the treasure objects, the 3 treasures, are strong and hard, well protected. The 6 doors are not opened, then evil Qi cannot enter. Hence, the entire body will not be sick. However, if the 6 doors are not closed and all treasures are stolen, then sickness will be initiated, and the Tao cannot be accomplished. It is praised as the real Qi within the Sin is the heavenly essence, essential Qi. This is a way to offer a clear Shen and clean Qi, which is shining like a mirror. If one follows this great Tao and uses it marvelously, the mind will be clean and calm, and the Qi will give birth to divine Shen. One to and one fro. Do not stop even momentarily. There is no place at the top and at the bottom not being cultivated. Thus, the creation and variation, that is, refinement of spiritual and physical body, can be completed. The Shen is calm and the Qi is clear without contamination, and this will result in steady breathing, and the cultivation of the Tao will naturally be effective. Those who study the Tao in the future, if they do not study its origin, then absurd thoughts cannot be stopped, nor can those initiated and ceased be stopped. Consequently, the mind lives, following surrounding objects, and how can they then achieve the goal of embryonic breathing? When you start meditating and you are cutting it in between, you stop, you cease, you initiate it, you cease, you initiate it, you stop, then there is no way your mind will not live. Your mind will be scattered, cannot be focused, cannot be condensed. And once your mind leaves its residence, the emotional mind, the seeing, the Shen, all of them, then you are attracted to surrounding objects. Different thoughts will distract you. Okay, you start thinking of what happened in the past, you start thinking of the plans you have for the future, and you are distracted from being in the now, from being present. Okay, you should keep away from eating meat as much as you can, or from drinking wine as much as you can, so that you do not generate violent and aggressive emotions. Okay, you should also isolate your mind from outside temptations. The eyes, the ears, the mouth, the nose, and the skin, they are the doors, okay, to the body, our sense organs. So the key to cultivating the real key by regulating the Qigong inside the body is not a hard task. Simply keep the mind and the shen clean, then your breathing will naturally be deep and natural, and the spiritual divine will be generated. Number 12. To train means to cultivate. To breathe means to regulate the key, to condense the shen, and to preserve the essence. The origin of the key converted from breathing is a clean and calm real key. Use the self-internal observation and feeling and lead it out and into the dantian slenderly. If you know this, you will be able to tame the dragon and tiger automatically. If the emotional mind is not lured, the shen, the spirit, does not contemplate, and the key is not disturbed by desires. This is called great steadiness. If your real key is able to reside in the shape and material, that is physical body, then you will be in the position of longevity with unlimited variations, and you can be called a truthful person or practitioner. What is embryonic breathing? You must retain the shen and stabilize the G. What are the three importances which should be embraced and kept? They are essence, key, and shen. Those who cultivate the human temperament must always keep these three importances at 6 a.m. Then the treasures will be gathered automatically. The country, that is the body, is rich, and the people, that is the key, are peaceful. The mind king is free. The shen is harmonious and pleasant. Fewer sickness, fewer worries. The body is light and easy, and the ears and eyes are sharp and bright. This is the real path for those who cultivate the truth. So if you practice these methods 3 to 5 years, the heaven will protect you. The divine nature will guide you and guard you, and general people will love and respect you. After a long time, you will gain the Tao automatically. Number 13. The original key does not have shape, cannot be seen. The real seen emotional mind does not have standard rules, that is, it changes all the time. The great Tao cannot be traced. Only the practice method of regulating breathing contains the real Tao. It is said the Qigong is calm, the key is stable, and the shen is retained. Those who cultivate the Tao, if they are able to follow the method of practicing great elixir to reach the original Tao, then the mind will be clean and insubstantial, extremely calm without worries, and the Yi is forgotten, empty and quiet with nothingness, and millions of methods are not traceable. This is the real cultivation of embryonic breathing. In this case, there is no doubt that one is able to become an immortal. One is able to live long. Okay? Those who cultivate, the next 114, those who cultivate the Tao must return to their origins, the original natural being. They should go back to their original purity and harmonize with the real key internally. Consequently, the Tao can be returned, and through natural influences of 4 phases, 5 elements, 6 keys, 7 origins, and 8 trigrams, the essence, the key, and the shen can be formalized into shape and substance, the human form. This is gaining the substantial from the insubstantial. Make something from nothingness, where the real elixir is secreted. Therefore, to train the Qigong into shen, to train essence into shape, to train ki for life are the training of ki in its ascent and descent of yin and yang. What is the origin of ki? It is the root of life. Therefore, it is a great Tao if you cultivate these 3 methods. The 6 Xiang means 4 phases, which are derived from yin and yang. Wuxing means 5 elements, namely metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. Liu Qi means the key existing in the air, in the blood, in the saliva, liquid, essence, and vessels. Qi Yuan means 7 origins, and implies the original function of the 7 orifices of eyes, nose, mouth, and ears, which are related to the 5 internal organs: liver, lungs, heart, spleen, and kidneys. Qiyuan also means the original key level of the 5 internal organs. Bagua means 8 triagrams, which implies heaven, earth, lake, mountain, wind, water, fire, and thunder. All of these are natural energies. So this document points out that in order to reach the Tao, we must return our self-being to its original purity. And to do this, we must coordinate and harmonize the natural energy and also the energy circulating within the body. Then we refine the mind so the Shen can be condensed, refine the essence so that the physical body can be strong and healthy, and refine the Qi so that the life force is powerful and abundant. These 3 things are the keys to reaching the Tao and achieving longevity. Those who cultivate the Tao should always observe themselves internally. They get rid of the 3 corpses and the 6 emotions. Return to the internal so as to keep and protect the 3 treasures. The Xin and Shen are kept at their residences. The Qi is condensed without dispersion, and the Shen is cheerful. The techniques of cultivating the Qi, training the shape, the physical body, and maintaining human temperament should not be forgotten. This is the key to real embryonic breathing and the key training of the great herb. Number 16. Furthermore, embryonic breathing cannot be done through stratagem, that is, through trick. If it could be done with trick, then it would be far away from the Tao. Human life must rely on the existence of Shen, and when Qi stays, the Tao of life can exist. Shen and Qi, these 2 must rely on each other so life can be achieved. Those whose temperament and physical life are weak, after comprehending this spiritual practice, can then be bright and shining. They are enlightened, harmonious, circulating cyclically and continuously, softly and fluently. Consequently, the Shen is peaceful and the Qi circulation unobstructed. When the Qi circulation is unobstructed, the blood circulation will be harmonious, and the Qi circulation and the bones will be strong. Then the bone marrow will be full, and the Qi stored at the abdomen